Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the DLZ Podcast. We've got some special guests with us today. Hence, I'm rocking the Delaware County Fishing Trail fishing wear today. So let's get into it. Lori and Beth.
Hello.
Also known as Two Chicks in a Boat.
That's us. That's us.
Excited to have you here today.
We're excited to be here.
Yeah. Obviously, anytime we can talk about fishing, I'm all in, right?
So are we.
I'm sporting my fishing gear today.
Yes.
I'm trying to manifest fishing, even though we're here at work today in the studio. So
You look great.
yeah, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, you look awesome. You're ready to
Ready to go.
on.
Yeah, got some strange looks on the way in today, but that's okay. Always repping the Delaware County Fishing Trail. It's awesome. So tell me tell us a little bit about the two of you. We know what we know from the website and whatnot, but I'd like to know a little bit more about Lori and Beth and Two Chicks in a Boat, honestly.
All right.
Go ahead.
You want me to go first?
Sure.
Well, so I'm a retired teacher, but fishing has been a part of my life since I was 4, and absolutely love it. It's funny because we saw some friends last night, and they were like, I had no idea. I played basketball with them in high school, and they're like, I had no idea you were so big into fishing. And I'm like, yeah, because when I was in high school, it wasn't really cool to say you were big into fishing. But every day after school, I would hit the pond, especially in elementary school and middle school. So it's been a part of my life. I love it. I think everybody needs to get out there and fish. It's so relaxing and challenging. And so that's just a little of my backstory. And then I'll let Beth tell her backstory, and then we'll tell you how we got our name, Two Chicks in a Boat.
I'm very interested in that one.
Sure. So I grew up about 2 hours east of Columbus, but on Sunday nights, our dad would take us to go fishing, and we would try to catch the biggest bass out there. We would usually catch the turtles, and he would not be happy about that idea. But it was always a family event for us to get together and be able to either give my mom some peace at home without all the kids running around, or we would all be together. And honestly, I grew up in the outdoors. I mean, I was very blessed to have the woods in my backyard, and my mom just said, go play. And when I yell for dinner, just come back. So,
Please come back.
Yeah.
Yes, right. That's funny.
so just very blessed, and to be able to do fishing with that, but then know what my dad taught me and to give it to others is one of the coolest parts that we do. So
It's fun. So we came upon the Two Chicks in a Boat. We got a boat in like 2006, and it was literally just to go out on the weekends or through the week, drop a bobber in, and fish and just have a good old time. And that's pretty much how we got started. Like as far as with the boat, I would rent boats and things from Alum Creek Marina back in the day, and then we got this boat, and then we had this friend of ours talk us into doing a tournament, because we would go to the fishing shows, and so we did this tournament. Well, that boat then graduated into a bigger boat, and so we got our first bass boat, and we were at a tournament, the very first tournament, because if you bought the boat, you got a reduction on tournament fees. So we go to this tournament, it's up at Grand Lake St. Mary, and we're sitting in our boat, and we have a little bit of an idea what we're doing at this point, because now it's 2015, and these two guys are sitting in the boat right beside us. There's like 62 boats. And the one guy looks over, and then he looks at his partner, and then he leans further over, and he looks at Beth, and he looks back at his partner, and he said, hey, there's two chicks in a boat over there. And we're like, oh, hey, bingo. So that's how we got the name
That's
Two
funny.
Chicks in a Boat.
Those are usually the best kind of names too, right?
Oh.
When they just come out organically like
Yeah,
that. It's
100%.
like, there it is.
Yeah, and he was floored to see two women in a tournament trail in 2015,
Yeah.
and it was like we were the only women that were fishing for probably 4 years.
yeah, I mean,
5 years.
occasionally
You'd
you
see
might
one.
see a husband and a wife.
Your boyfriend or girlfriend.
Yeah,
every
but
now and
not two women as a team like that. So almost like seeing two unicorns, I guess, out there.
then. Or two chicks in a boat.
Yes.
Two chicks in a boat.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So,
So you mentioned you got your first boat in 2006.
Yeah.
So you guys have been at this for a while.
not competitively, but we've been at the fishing all our life. But then when we decided to
Right.
jump into a boat, we jumped into a boat in 2006.
Yes.
But we knew I had rented boats before, but we knew very, very little about boats because when we got our first boat,
Zero.
we knew zero.
We didn't know
and
how to
then
back it up.
Nothing.
There
And
happened
then-
to be 3 holes in the back that all fit a drain plug.
Yeah.
So you had to,
And 2 of the holes don't help.
yes.
Right. Yeah. There's the one that
So there's
keeps
the
the water
one-
from coming in. The others
Yeah.
let water out. Right.
See?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
there's this other thing that wasn't on our list of 30 things when we purchased that boat.
Yeah.
That we didn't know you had to do. And so we got the boat and we actually bought it like from a boat show and we picked it up in April and we're so excited for its maiden voyage. And we go through our checklist of, I swear to God, 30 things. And we're like, we can't start the boat until we know, like we can't unhook it till we know it starts.
Yeah.
So Beth backs down beautifully. She's awesome at driving on land. And backs it down, and we're going through a checklist, and we turn it, nothing happens. We turn it again, nothing happens. And so we're like, what do we do? So we call the boys, and the boys in the service department, and they're like, uh-oh, it's the girls. And they go through the whole thing, and they're like, well, put the phone by the motor. So we put the phone by the motor. Put the phone by the switch. There's the kill switch on, on the lever. To put it by the key, and then finally they said, girls, did you charge the boat? And we're like, charge the boat? What do you mean?
I don't charge my truck. Why would I charge this boat?
So, voila, we pulled it right back out of the water. Luckily, it was still chained up, still hooked up, so we weren't out
didn't
there
lose her.
floating and being clueless. Yeah, and
Zero knowledge.
zero knowledge. Yeah, and we took it back and got it charged. Nobody told us you had to. That was not on our list.
No, we had 36. Yeah, 36 things. 37 is charge it.
37. Right. Yeah.
Charge
Don't
the
forget
boat.
the charging.
So that's kind of where
That's
we.
funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's how much we knew about owning a boat.
Yeah.
Zero.
We like to be all in with zero knowledge.
I tell you, sometimes I think that's the best way just to learn is, obviously we don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want you to see your boat
Exactly.
sink or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Yes.
But we've all done it.
Yeah.
If anybody says they haven't, then I think they're
Exactly.
pulling your leg.
Yes.
I had to go for a swim once at Rocky Fork Lake because I was like, strange, this boat won't come up on plane. It's weird. I'm like, what's going on back here? Raise the lid. I'm like, okay, the water's starting to come through the drain in the floor. I'm like,
Yeah.
that pesky drain plug.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. And but I did find out that day after swimming around and trying to reach it, which I couldn't, that I could actually stick the drain plug in from the inside.
Oh,
And it was one of those rubber ones that snaps over, and I stuck it in from the inside and ran the bilge pumps for a while, and I'm like, all right, well, lesson learned.
yes.
Won't do that again, but we were able to continue on our way after a few minutes.
yeah.
It pumped it out, but ever since then, the drain plugs checked probably 5-6 times when I get to the ramp. Just
Get it.
just be sure because it only takes a second to look. So, no, that's awesome. So you've progressed from just recreational fishing,
Recreational
Yes.
fishing.
and then you got into your tournament fishing. What kind of drove you, I guess, to go from like, there are days where I question when we're out there. We had a tournament just maybe a month ago at Buckeye Lake, and I'm pretty sure there was hail.
Oh, yeah.
And this horrendous storm blew through, and I'm standing there, and we're not fishing at this point. I've got the spot lock set, and I'm not doing anything except I'm all bundled up with my back to it. I'm like eating my Cliff Bar. I'm like, I'm not sure why we do this to ourselves at times. So.
When we got asked to do the tournaments from a buddy of ours, we first were like, well, we like to do it recreationally. And then we said, I don't know if we know enough to be in tournaments and stuff. So
He drilled us. Like
He did every boat
year,
show.
Because it was 5 years. It
Yeah.
wasn't. And he would drill us about
Yeah.
that. But then it was when we were in Florida and Jose passed.
oh yeah, you could share that story.
Okay, so I grew up watching Jose Wahebe and just loved his shows and just loved every Sunday morning I was glued to the TV and I was like, he just made it look so effortless. And so, and he would talk about it in this, the videos and things that were shot back then were cutting edge, for the equipment they have. Today it's different. We have a lot of equipment, can do wonderful things, but we were down and we went on a fishing charter with someone who was actually his neighbor. And it was really bad in the Florida Keys. And so the guy took us out for 4 hours and he goes, the visibility's horrible. He said, I'm not going to charge you for today. I'll take you out tomorrow. He said, and we'll see if it's better tomorrow, which is unheard of that a boat captain will do that. And so we went out Friday with him, and we just got sharing stories. And on Friday is when we found out he knew Jose. And he said he's coming back to town tonight. And he said, tonight or tomorrow. He said, if you ladies are still in town, I'll text you and let you know, and you can meet him. And I was like, is he like he is on TV? And he said, what you see on TV is exactly Jose. And we were like, oh, man. I mean, it was like Christmas Eve, you know? And we were so excited. And unfortunately, at approximately 8 o'clock that night, we found out that that's when Jose had the plane crash.
Oh, jeez.
And died in the Everglades. And I saw a text from a lady that fishes, ladies, let's go fishing, and we were just crushed. And it was horrible. And so we came home and we're like, I know one day they're going to do something. They're going to create a memorial for him, or they're going to do some fundraising or whatever. I said, I think we need to fish and I know Jose at the time he wasn't a big tournament angler. He was more about conservation, things like that. But we were like, we could win and give money to the organization was our whole goal. So we had big dreams, and so we had one of my students made us a shirt that said Team Wahebe, and it was
stickers on the back.
Yeah, stickers on the back. Yeah, stickers on the back, and then we
our tournament was at Buckeye Lake.
Yeah, it was our very first tournament on Buckeye Lake. Yeah,
yeah, and it was
in a 16.5-foot aluminum boat, 50 horsepower, and it was bad.
Yeah,
it was.
So windy out there.
Oh, boy.
So much so that I said, I'm not sitting in my seat anymore. I'm going to sit on the floor and pray.
Yeah. So she sat on the floor and prayed.
And that's actually not a great idea. You should sit in your seat.
Because it was every wave you hit was pounding, and she was like, this hurts. And I was like, well, you could sit here. She's like, I don't want to see where we're going.
Again, choices that we make.
Yeah. Yeah, every once in a while you question
should we be doing this again? Yeah. Right. But we caught one fish.
We did, and we weighed that in proudly.
And it was 12 inches. It had to be 12 inches, but it was barely 12 inches. And
it broke a pound.
Yep. And we were the last ones in.
Yeah. And then on the boat, the one guy flipped his boat on that day.
Yeah, it was really bad.
And another guy ran out of gas. And we're like, oh, man, what are we doing in this little 16-foot boat and with 50 horsepower? But then we were hooked. We were like, this is just phenomenal. And kind of full circle moment is years ago, we went to the ICAST. And we were down at ICAST, and by this time, the Spanish Fly Memorial has been up and running. And they are an incredible agency that they kind of help people with not necessarily life-threatening, just hardships. It could be life-threatening things or hardships, and they take the kids or the parents or whoever out on the water, like to take a break from whatever is happening in their life. And we actually met Chrissy Wahebe, his daughter.
Oh, wow.
And so it's been exciting. It's kind of full circle, and we stay in touch with her. Yeah.
There's always a reason behind what we do.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of meaning. What we do, but
and that was 2012, I think, was our first 12.
Yes.
Was our first tournament, and then we've just been kind of hooked ever since. The competitive side of us.
Rain or shine.
It is addictive, yeah.
It is addictive.
Yeah, I question the times we start in March, and I'm like, really?
Oh, yeah.
You know, we're out here, and the water's 40 degrees, and it's snowing. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
We did do one of those in February in Kentucky, and
right before COVID.
And when the ice is beginning to build on your boat and all your equipment, you do question some things.
Yeah,
right.
Kentucky Lake.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're doing here, but hey, I appreciate your guys' resolve to to take something like that on. Honestly, and just see it through. I mean, because it's easy to get, I think, caught up in the television side of things, and you could watch it, read about it.
Yeah.
But at some point, you just got to do it.
You got to do it.
At some point, you got to swim.
Oh, yeah.
So
we look back at some of the things we've done and some of the places we've gone, and we're like, we had no idea Kentucky Lake could get as dangerous as it does. Lake St. Clair. We took that 16.5-foot boat up there, Lake St. Clair. We fished a tournament.
Who knew?
And the whole bottom of the boat was nothing but plastics because, we didn't know, the specific colors you should buy. So the whole point behind buying plastics is to hook the angler, not necessarily the fish. So we had green pumpkin candy, watermelon candy, birthday cake. I mean, all these colors that we really
funny.
didn't need. And we're up there, and again, we're the only women, and there's all these guys. And I think at first they thought we were just like screwing around, like not really meaning to
Yeah,
be
not
serious
serious.
anglers. And then when we came in and we weighed in our 5 fish, I think we had 5 that day.
Yeah, we did.
And we worked so hard to get those 5 fish because we knew nothing about it. Like, we didn't know. Our buddy showed us a Texas rig. He showed us a Texas rig for our first tournament, and that's all we knew at that point in time. We didn't understand crankbaits or,
And then
I
we
did
were
know
like-
how to work a hula popper.
Yeah, and there was a shaky hit, and I was like, the weight's already attached to it. Why am I using a Texas rig? Jeez. So,
But it's
So-
been wonderful,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then when we go to Kentucky Lake and realize how dangerous that lake can get, and we're there with 100 and I think there are 161 boats.
Yep.
And we go by in our little whatever, and we go to the land between the lakes, which is across the dam, and we're up by the dam. And so I'm like, Beth, if something happens to the main motor, you need to jump up and get on the trolling motor, put it on high, and go at an angle away from the dam, because I was like, I don't want us to be sucked down the dam, because I didn't know they blew a horn.
no pressure, Beth. No pressure.
But we always planned
That's
ahead
fun.
for safety reasons.
Yeah.
And then now we've been on Kentucky Lake in 6-footers and love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
because
Because
we've
we know what we're
grown
doing
up in
now.
our
Right.
boats
Yeah,
here.
we've grown up, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not encouraging anyone to go out in this kind of weather.
No.
But, we've all been there. A lot of tournaments on Lake Erie and whatnot that have gotten pretty rough.
And it
we've
happens
lost
so
some
fast.
boats. Yeah. And
That's-
I think sometimes people forget, Buckeye Lake's pretty shallow.
Yeah.
Lake Erie's pretty shallow as the shallowest Great Lake, even Lake St. Clair.
Yes.
And the wind blows across them and it churns up pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
anybody's going to go out in these bodies of water, you need to check your weather forecasts
Please.
and, please err on the side of conservative in
100%.
that if you're not feeling it, just start heading back in.
Yes.
I mean,
Oh,
there's no
yes.
reason to sit out there and beat yourself to death and tear up your equipment.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
And then, God forbid, get anybody hurt or injured. So
Wear a
we-
life
we're,
jacket.
we're blessed.
Always wear a life jacket.
Always life
Always.
jackets,
Yes.
yeah.
And I'll say one thing, too, about life jackets. Beth drops, when we fish at Alum, even Delaware, the water there's deep. It's 20 feet deep. And a couple years ago, somebody's like, "What do you need your life jacket for? You're just jumping in the boat."
I get made fun of all the time.
sometimes because
you're on
she-
land, Beth.
Why are you wearing your life
Yeah.
jacket? And she'll wear her life jacket to step in on the boat because if she slips or falls, nobody's going to find her because she's going to go right down under. It's 20 feet deep there, and you're not going to find them if she hits her head, knocks herself out. Anybody that's just. People don't think about that, and they
I think
really.
I don't remember the statistics, so nobody hold me to this, but I think it's like 80% of the injuries around boats and watercraft in general are at the dock.
Exactly.
Because it's the only place you can hit something hard.
Yeah.
So if you slip and fall, and then you're jumping on to
Yes.
things,
Yep.
and
Yes.
you've got this concrete or wood dock that you can land on.
Yeah.
And it's
So
I
she
mean,
always wears her life
I
jacket.
appreciate all the tournament organizations, mandating that, at least mandating
Yes.
that you wear your life jacket when the big motor's running. So,
And I love the fact that the state of Ohio has now implemented you have to wear a kill switch. The driver must
Yeah.
wear the kill switch.
well, we've all seen the unfortunate YouTubes with the boat out
Yeah.
circling, and I'm like, talk about dangerous,
Yeah.
depending on how fast it's going, or even regardless. But it only makes sense. It's so easy to do, and it's such a safety thing. So,
Right.
yeah. So, I mean, obviously, I can feel the passion. Your upbringing kind of instilled this in you. You've kind of taken two chicks in a boat, I think, beyond just the two of you fishing in tournaments. You've got some other things you're doing, some outreach, some education things. Can you talk a little bit about that as where you headed with this as from a missions perspective?
Gotcha. Go for it.
So we do a lot of educational speaking events at different boat shows, Cabela's, Bass Pro Shops.
Cleveland Boat Show.
Yeah, Cleveland
We
Boat
love
Show.
to go up to
Yes.
Cleveland Boat Show because we get to be up on the tank. Not to interrupt, but we get to be up on. Beth gets to be up on the
Yeah.
tank, and I'm down on ground.
Yeah.
And that's fun. It's the Berkeley tank, and she'll get up
Very
there,
nice.
Yeah.
and she'll show them different baits, and those fish are hungry.
They are.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's that is super helpful and educational to understand what the bait does, how it looks. and how active fish can be to eat those lures. So in addition to that, we do a lunch and learn in West Jeff for kids. So we bring our boat down. We show them exactly what happens on the boat, safety with the boat, life jacket safety, all those different things. But our mission for Two Chicks in a Boat is to get more people outdoors, to get more people involved in fishing, and to do everything that we've been brought to us as far as fishing, and
To give back.
and to really honor our dads who took us fishing and our moms.
Yeah.
And give it back to youth. And I don't think we fully grasp like the scope of Two Chicks in a Boat, like, because it's fun for us. We love what we do.
So,
It's a passion of ours. So we just didn't understand. So for example, just down the road, our neighbor, he was, because we were putting our boat, parking it near the house, and
garage.
he goes, my niece is from Michigan, and we're having like a house party stuff. She said she knows you guys,
She follows you on
and I said, "Are you sure?"
Facebook. Yeah.
So, the reach that we can get with Two Chicks in a Boat has been really a blessing for us. Yeah. To know that we can reach people, but it's not just, they don't have to know about fishing, but they see us on Facebook Lives, they see us on our website and YouTube and stuff like that, that they're like, you just make us happy. And
There's something to be said for that on social media these days, right?
and I was
and just that 1% of that is it's really worth it.
So it's something I would chime in on that too, is with the social media, we were both in education. And unfortunately we've seen the video game, and I'm not talking forward-facing sonar. That's a whole nother podcast.
We may not want to get into that. Open that can
but
of
I'm
worms,
just talking the phone and the distraction and the mental health. Kids don't get outdoors. We both grew up, I would walk to the pond after school, and even though I wasn't allowed to, and then I might have got caught, and then I got in trouble for a little bit, and then, but we want people to get out there. And initially we thought we're going to get more women into it, women who have never had the opportunity to get into it. And what we found when we went to some of these boat shows is a lot of guys would come up and ask us questions. And like we followed, I remember one time it was Bill Lowen, and one time I think we followed Randy Howell down at the Bass Pro Shop.
Brandon Polinick.
And Brandon Polinick.
You need us to follow Brandon.
Yeah, so like they spoke
engaged,
first, and then we would get up and talk. Well, then these people would come up and ask us questions, and we were really kind of curious. And one guy goes, "I am not intimidated to come and ask you guys questions, where I'm really intimidated to ask Brandon Polinick or Bill Lowen or whatever." And he's like, "I just feel that I've never fished before. My dad never taught me, and I want to teach my son how to fish." And so we stayed in touch with the guy from Cincinnati. He would text us or he would email us and say, "Hey, what do I do next?" or whatever. So those things those were the unexpected, because we thought we're just going to get more ladies out there. And we found that we're getting women out there, kids out there, and that's our give social media a break. Get out
Please.
there. Yeah, get out there, look around. There's not a day. I was cleaning out stuff and flipping through photos. I have pictures of Alum Creek when there used to be all the trees that at one time had caught fire. And on the one side, and it's just beautiful photos. I'm like, I've been taking photos of this place since I was since I could, I was in high school, I could drive, and granted they were on the Polaroid or whatever they were. Maybe not
Those
Polaroid,
days.
but
I remember that.
But that is really, if we can get people just to go and give it a shot. And we really have come from, we had no clue other than bobber and a worm. And then what happens is people are like, this is fun. I like it. I want to do more. And then they start to explore the different types of techniques and things like that. So we try to...
And you've really nailed it, like approachable, because they realize we didn't know anything.
We had no clue.
And so like if we can do it.
Yeah, like
and we can help teach others how to do it.
Just make sure you charge the boat.
Yeah.
Just charge
And
those
put
back.
the plug in the right spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely that.
Yeah.
That's that's interesting. You know, I was going to ask you kind of what surprised you so far in your journey with this. You kind of touched on that a little bit, is like how, fans and people at trade shows might react to you. I find that very interesting. I'm involved with a trout club here in Columbus as well, and we're constantly trying to kind of break down that there's, I don't know if it's a wall or a stigma or something that's attached to fishing, and people, I don't want to use the word intimidated, that seems a little bit much, but they're interested enough, they want to try to figure some things out, but it's like, do you approach somebody that's with all this stuff and all this gear and this big giant fancy boat and everything, and it's like, I'm not sure if I'm going to ask them or not. Sure. And I don't want that to ever be a hindrance for people to get into the sport, because it's obviously vital for all of us that enjoy it, that people continue to get out and enjoy it, because that's, manufacturers depend on that, as do, the state of Ohio, whoever, puts a lot of these lakes, does the stocking, things like that. So I guess, where, how have you been received in that regard, and trying to carry that message forward and breaking down the wall? I know I find it even more interesting. We've been working diligently within the fly fishing community to break down the stigma, so more ladies get involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's always been seen as kind of an older gentleman's thing to do, which we have a great group of Ohio fly fisher women, women, Ohio women on the fly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they've been doing great work and getting, trying to break down that stigma. And I guess that's something we should all be trying to do, for families with kids and women, but even men too. I mean, it's, if they're intimidated and they don't, I'm not sure. And there's a cost. Obviously, you got to buy some equipment. Yeah. How crazy do they have to get? Kind of like, hey, you can go buy a Zebco rod at the Walmart and get started, but look out, no guarantees, because I look back on those days, I'm like, whoa, my garage is entirely full now. What happened? So it can be addictive, but in getting outside and getting away from that social media, it's like one of those things. It's, to me, it's fairly easily attainable, and it's a real experience,
right? And it's and it's kind of the trade-off. I will say, when it comes to a lot of people, we don't want them to think to go fishing, you then have to graduate to tournament fishing. Like we have turned, that tournament fishing for us has fed that competitive, that competitiveness that we both have had, the sports, we grew up basketball, playing sports and stuff. And so that aspect, but like I'll take my sister when Beth can't fish on Tuesday night. I'll take my sister, and the first time I took her, I think she was 60. It was about 10 years ago. So
I had to fight for my seat back.
I know, because Sonar Sherry was. I mean, she was. But my sister's more competitive than I am. But she had never fished before, and so we're out there and we hook her up, and then she's got a couple rods now, and she has a little tackle box, and which were Christmas gifts. So anyhow, but she loves it. And it's time on the water, but more than just being out there fishing, looking for fish, it's quality time that I have with my sister. It's making the memories, that you have. And I think that's the part that we need to get people to understand. It's, you will never remember the game you scored on your phone or whatever you're playing, but you will remember the time you spend on the water with someone or on the bank. For my 50th birthday, Mr. Jones gave me, and I just happened to find it because I was cleaning up stuff yesterday. He gave me a hula popper and an old jitterbug. And they're antiques, and I'm like, these are getting in the display model. But he's known me since I was 4 years old. So those things, those are memories, and he's in his 90s now. And we want to get him out on the water, and he's like, I don't know. So, But that's what I think people need to realize is, even just getting out there. And if you're like, I really don't want to fish, I just want to sit on the bench and look at the water. Delaware and Alum have so many places that you can just go and sit and just be still, and I think we need to encourage that more often.
There's so many times that I feel like we're chasing sunrises and sunsets out there.
Oh, we are.
Just because, and who cares about the fish?
Yeah.
Because they're the most gorgeous sights.
Yeah.
And
I've found as the older I get, it's like I don't want to say I don't care about catching fish, because obviously if you're in a tournament situation, you probably do, but it becomes less and less critical to me, and it won't ruin my experience. Let's just put it that
Exactly.
way.
Yes.
Because just being out, watching the loon swim by or whatever, it's like, it's just all these things that your senses are heightened because you're outside and you're not, your face isn't buried in a phone or what have you. So,
The Eagles.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we tell the stories. It's funny, about the high score. Yeah, I have no idea what I've done digitally, but we still were. I was talking to a friend and we were laughing about we were fishing for tarpon in Florida, and we were trying to beat this hurricane that was coming. And I have a picture of us with the front of the hurricane is in the shot, and you can see it coming. And we're, we caught our tarpon and we're headed back, but it's like, cut that one pretty close, and it dumped on us before we got the ramp, but whatever. But I mean, either that kind of story.
Yeah.
We'll remember that forever. I mean, it was crazy, and it's like, but sharing those kind of memories. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I guess, we've obviously got a lot of great memories to share. What's the best way for someone that's like, I would love to get outside more, and I've watched, once in a while I see a fishing show on, or I see a boat go down the road, and I'm like, how do I get involved, and what's the best way for me to get started?
I would say one thing, and it's coming up this weekend, is, your local, there's the local tackle stores. So, and Cabela's for us is right here on Polaris Parkway. This coming Sunday and Father's Day weekend, and I think the weekend afterwards, they're going to have like fishing clinics for kids, like free fishing. They have a pond back there. Most people don't realize there's a pond there. So we're going to be there from 10 to 2, helping out. But I would say go and check those spots out. The other one I would mention is Old Dutchman on Sunbury Road. I used to go into that store as a kid. I would ride my bike with the boys on the street, and we'd get our worms, and Judy is still working there. And she looks, I'm like, dang, I hope she can be your age. She does not age at all. And I'm like, and they're having they're doing a fish fry. I think it's going to be, I think it's July. I don't think it's June. But they're going to have like a big old time fish fry where people just can get together, community, and share stories. So I think that's a way, if people are like, want to get their toes wet and dip into it, catch one of those things. Go and hear stories, and then talk to people how to get started. Like for me, when I was a kid, it was a Zebco rod, Zebco rod. 33 reel was my number, and it was push button, toss it in, and get started like that. And I think that's a great place to start. I know the other thing, high schools now offering middle schools and high school programs. There's the Hartley Hogs. There's the Walnut Springs. I forget what they're called. The Walnut Springs fishing team. So they pull kids from all over the community, and not just Westerville. And kids can sign up and be on their fishing team, and things graduate. But I think as your interest increase, the more you get your feet wet, the more you're going to find ways to get that information.
And there's so many metro parks around that you can, we have some of the most beautiful metro parks. Yeah. There's ponds in different neighborhoods. Sometimes you can catch somebody fishing down there and just talk to them. And honestly, just the other day, accidentally, Lori casted and pulled in a Zebco rod and reel out of Allen Creek.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then Bones goes, I go, we'll raffle this off for second place.
Yeah.
And Bones goes, keep it. I go, no, Bones, you can have it. He goes, I'm turning it into Cabela's Rod Day.
There you go.
He said, I clean them up and turn them in and get so much off of a new rod.
But one of my favorite places is Cheshire Market. So you could bring the family there, get your pizza, get one rod. Everybody in the family could share it. You get a license, but you could safely walk across and go down to Allen Creek and try some fishing.
Love Cheshire pizza.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a real chore to have to go over there and eat their pizza.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
behind it is some ice cream.
Oh yeah, sticky fingers.
Yeah,
that's funny. Yeah, sticky fingers ice cream too. Absolutely. I share the memories of the first rod because I didn't even get a reel.
Cane pole.
Because you didn't.
It wasn't even. It was a regular rod, but it was just, Dad didn't see fit to buy me a reel. He wanted to make sure that I was into this enough, so I would make my sister carry the line, and I would carry the rod, and we would trek across. We lived next to a creek, so that was poor fish. I was down there every day. So yeah, I love the first rod stories because I'm like, I got a good one. So it didn't even have a reel, so just she would chuck it out there, and then I would hold it. So we did what we did. So speaking to like getting someone started. If someone's got a partner in their life, sometimes you're fishing all the time. They're not so into it. They've hinted like, I might. But I think like my fear would always be, are they going to have a good time? Right. Are they going to, what can we do to get them on the water so that they have a great experience?
Right.
And, and maybe they can catch some fish. I know we've gone places before and, like we chartered a boat in Florida once, and the captain asked me, so what do you want to do? You want trophies or numbers? And I'm like, numbers. Yeah. Because I knew we would go somewhere where there's a lot, they're smaller, but it's okay because it kept people's, it keeps their attention, get them hooked. Don't start them off with a bad experience.
Exactly.
Yes. One of these tournament days we used to have on the high river where, 10 hours later, you haven't even gotten a bite, and it's 100 degrees. And I'm like, I see why people don't want to come back and do this.
Right.
I can totally understand.
Right.
So what would you guys suggest in that regard?
So I'll probably talk about when I take my students. So I'm in special education. Every year in May, I take my students to a local pond that happens to be right behind one of my buildings. Okay. And I make Lori come with me, even though I know she wants to, but I still make her. And it is hard, but we try because we know where the fish, the bluegill, crappie, whatever, they usually hang out under the dock. So we're in there trying to give them the best experience. And so what we didn't realize is that all my classrooms that I bring out, they're all trying to compete against each other to see who wins.
I know that was
so.
And your kids have
moderate to severe disabilities.
Yeah, so physical disabilities.
So we are helping them fish, but they love it.
But then what's funny is then the adults that are there tell us about how they went to an Airbnb at Kentucky Lake and rented a boat and got out on the water.
Sure.
So, and took their kids fishing. So I think, like you mentioned, if you're going to get somebody into it, you want to go to where they're going to have a high percentage of catching fish. We took my great niece and nephew there. They had a high percentage. They caught fish, competed, of course, and then eventually we took them out on the boat and things like that. And you mentioned earlier about like if you have a partner or somebody that wants to get into it. Our Lake and Memories, we did that tournament, and we had and it's 5 a.m, so people were checking in. And there's a guy and a girl, and you could see that she was like, I do not have any idea what I'm doing here, and she was like, this is awfully early in the morning, and they went out. He said, I'm really hoping she likes this, and they had a blast. And they came in, they weighed in fish, and she got to see it all. So those things, you have to hope that they like it. I will also say that you always want to offer to take the fish off the hook because a lot of people don't like touching fish. There was a little boy that was fishing in that same tournament, and he was just like, I don't know hold it. I don't know hold it. So we tried to find gloves real quick. Yeah. But then finally he was like, he's holding it up, and for 4 years, we fish.
Hey guys, I had a good system going. My dad took my fish off. I met Lori. She took my fish off. I don't really know why I changed any of my systems here, but I do take them off myself now. But
she would just fling it to me, and I'd take it off, put it in live well, and then finally one day she had to.
Smart.
She had to take it off. But so those things,
Tell them about your mom.
Oh, so taking my mom.
So, a quick story. We took my dad. Lori and I happened to be catching fish on the front of the boat. He said, what can a guy do just to get to the front of the boat to catch some fish? That's what my dad said. Yeah. And he eventually caught some. But your mom wasn't real big into fishing, but she went on a charter with you, and she wanted to bring her book so she could read.
She didn't. It was, we were down in Islamorada just for a quick little trip. And she's like, I don't think I want you to go out on this charter by yourself. Sure. And I was like, I didn't want to tell her I do it all the time. You know what I mean? I was like, Mom, I'm okay. I'll be all right. And she's like, no, I think I'm going to go with you. And I was like, okay. So she brings her book and everything. And the guy's, his name was Anthony Skinner, or is. And he looked at her and he goes, ma'am, he said, nobody reads a book on my boat. And she's like, well, I don't have any idea what I'm doing. And he goes, you'll be fine. And she hooked into a Jack Crevalle. And
boy.
It bent her rod. And she looks at me and she's like, what do I do now? You know, and I was like, just start reeling. And she's reeling and reeling. And she lands it and she's like, I'm hooked. She's like, I get why you do it. So, yeah.
I think it's always about bringing snacks.
Oh, yeah.
Bringing a game. Like, we now have a fishing game that we bring for my students, but we'll bring it to Cabela's. So if they're not catching fish, we at least have a game that has pretend fish.
Sure, yeah.
And it helps. So it's something to keep any age engaged.
Snacks,
Yeah.
food.
So even for
like-
for your sister, she brings her garden gloves.
Yes.
So if she has to catch or touch fish, she'll
And
bring,
she will
and they're
hold them up
pink
now.
or green.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And she'll
So
hold them up
it's
now.
just
That's funny.
finding whatever your partner may enjoy. Try to bring a little bit of that, so that they can, you can kind of dip.
Starvation, dehydration does not make for a good day. People do not want to come back.
No,
So,
and it's like when we had Landon and Eve out there, we sat down and they had lunch. We have pictures of them eating lunch, and the fish were not biting.
Oh.
They didn't catch a fish, but they had a great lunch, you know.
And and they were like, just go faster.
Oh, yeah,
Drive
they
faster.
like when our boat goes
kids like
fast.
that.
That's funny. So you touched on the Lake and Memories tournament
Yes.
a little bit.
Yes.
Maybe tell us a little bit more about what that is. I know that supports the
SACA.
SACA, yeah. So maybe can you talk a little bit about that?
I'm
And
gonna say what SACA stands for.
Scioto Area Core Cooperation Association.
Yes.
Nicely done.
She is, yes.
Did you see me? I'm trying to look up to
That's
see
right.
where my brain is going.
This is why I tossed that
So,
one to
yeah.
her. So the president of the executive director of SACA, Jess Timmons, Jess Price Timmons, I actually used to babysit her way back in the day. And we reconnected. She's a phenomenal teacher at Olentangy Orange and does so much for the environment, gets her kids hooked on environment and what's going on in our world. And she is on the board, and this organization takes care of 6 dams in Ohio, and they step in and help out when the Corps of Engineers needs help, or the law enforcement, or Sylvia, I know their names.
Well,
I just don't know their
limited funding
titles.
might be there. They really do step in to help
out.
Yeah, they always want to make sure that our parks are up and ready and safe for anyone to come visit.
sure.
So they've approached us to do this tournament, and we're like, sure, we'll do the tournament. And the first year, I think we had 10 boats. And then the second year, I think we had maybe 14. And then we had 17 this year. So we're starting to build, the tournament trail. But one thing that we do is and this is how we got started in tournament fishing, and this is how we do our women's trail. Everybody who participates gets a ticket. And then we have prizes, kind of like door prizes. And then everybody leaves with something is our
Nice.
goal.
So you feel like you won.
You feel like you won. You may not have weighed
That's
in
a
a
great-
fish, but you walked away with a door prize. And so we hit up local businesses. They donate to nonprofit. We had some really cool Ray-Ban gift baskets that one of our ladies, Lori, saw us Tuesday night. She goes, that gift basket was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, there were sunglasses, there was an umbrella, a yoga mat, like this yoga dry. Oh,
She was so happy.
so excited about it. And that came from Dr. Holding's office.
Yep. Watershed donated to
Oh,
us.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So those things that, if they can buy extra tickets if they want to. So all that money goes to help SACA. And we raised quite a bit this year for them. So that's a great partnership. We'll do it again next year. I don't have the date finalized yet,
But it's for, even our friend that came down, she brought her brother and her husband, so 3 were fishing out of a boat. And that's okay for us because we would rather have it inclusive for families rather than, have rules that you can't do
Yeah,
something.
like in reading some of the the description, I like the fact that it's someone can almost kind of scratch the surface of tournament fishing world, but it's not quite so high pressure, high intensity, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and the entry fee's low. So we keep it low, and then it's 80% payback. So whoever wins is getting 80% of the pot. But the other part is those prizes, and some of those prizes are we had 2 reels that were $100, and so somebody's walking away with $100 reel, and maybe they paid 50, their partner paid 50 to get into the tournament, so they're coming out ahead, and that. We find that, and that's how we run our women's trail. We find that to help people. It also helps build your tackle box without you having to cut the cost.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will put the website, your website up, which has the information for the Lake and Memories tournament.
Yes.
There's a link on there. So when you do have the date for next year, and is this going to be at Alum Creek every year?
Yes, every
Okay.
year. I know Kara would like us to come up to Delaware, but sometimes in the spring, the water and it's you have to cancel. Our guys were on there 2 weeks ago, and they had to cancel. Like they were out there fishing, and they're like, "Get off the water."
Yeah. We typically go out a New Galena ramp.
Yeah.
Okay, New Galena.
It's got a shelter house there, which is
as much as we love our lakes in Central Ohio for fishing, but they do have a greater purpose in flood control, and if they have to hold water back, the levels can get pretty high, and there can be problems there.
But there's a reason for
they
that.
are serving a purpose, not
are.
just for our fishing.
Yeah.
No.
Even though that's how I like to describe it
it's
sometimes.
serve a purpose
Right.
and to educate people to understand. Especially that's what SACA does.
Yes.
And
Okay.
they've been able to set up trails, cam trails. Not if people don't want to fish, get out and hit some of those parks and those trails around those areas. And they've spotted a bobcat down in, I think it was Southern Ohio. There was a bobcat on one of the trail cameras. So that's fascinating.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about your women's trail you just mentioned. After we're going to take a quick break, thank a couple sponsors, and we'll be right back. Is that good?
Perfect.
Yes.
Thanks.
Awesome. Hey, everybody, looking to get out on the water this summer? Check out the fine people at Paul's Marine. Whether you're a seasoned boater, a weekend fisherman, or you're just thinking about getting out on the water for the very first time, the team at Paul's Marine has you covered. As a family-owned business, Paul's Marine offers a great selection of new and used boats, plus all the accessories and gear you need to make the most out of your time on the water. What really sets them apart is their commitment to customer service. If you're new to boating, they'll take the time to walk you through everything you need to know, even getting you out on the water so you feel comfortable and confident before heading out on your own. From helping you find the right boat to making sure you're ready for your next adventure, Paul's Marine is there every step of the way. Visit Paul's Marine today and see why generations of Ohio boaters trust them to get out on the water with confidence. Welcome back, everybody. We're just getting ready to dive into the women's trail, fishing trail you talked about in the first half. So maybe tell us a little bit about that and how that got started, where you're doing your tournaments, all that kind of fun stuff.
All right, so it started sitting at a bar. I believe it was right around 2020. And it was just after COVID. And we're sitting and kind of came up with an idea on a bar napkin. We had fished tournaments before, like some women's team trail or women's trail tournaments, but one goes as a boater and one goes as a co-angler.
Okay.
So it's, and they would call the boater a pro, and then the co-angler is your co-angler. And so we fished some of those events. They were fantastic. We had a great time, but there were times where I might have had somebody as a co-angler who knew nothing about boating. And so there's the safety issue of if I stroke out or have a heart attack, can you read my graph? Can you get me back to where I need to go? And the answer is probably no. And on the flip side, sometimes there were boaters who were new to it and not the safest boaters. And Beth is in a boat with someone who really doesn't know how to run a boat. So we were like, we love the concept, but then you're also competing against each other in a way, co-angler in their division, pro in their division, and you can only cast a certain spot on the boat, forward and behind. And then we knew the forward-facing sonar was coming in, and we started to see that in 2017. And then we realized that's going to be, if the boater who's paying a lot of money, or the pro, they're fishing from the front of the boat, that does not leave a lot of options for the co. And so, and the cost was super expensive. And we're like, we travel together, we can split the cost, but it's expensive. And so we created kind of the Two Chicks in a Boat team trail, because we felt that if you fish together as a team, You can fish anywhere you want on the boat. Either person can run the trolling motor. So if one in the front's tired and needs to sit down, they can sit down or whatever. And you just work together. You split the cost. So that's kind of how we started with that trail. And our first tournament was on Allen Creek, actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, are you guys staying like around Central Ohio, or you regional? Do you go up to Lake Erie, that kind of stuff?
So initially, our first tournament was Alum, and then we went all the way down to North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
Again, we're all in.
Yeah, we're all in.
Apparently, yeah. That's great.
All in.
That's great.
So we went to North Carolina that first year, Tennessee,
Lake Chickamauga,
Indiana,
Virginia.
Yeah. So it's because it is I think we find it hard to find other women who know other women to fish as a team. Yeah. So we were trying to map it out to where we could get maybe bigger numbers.
Sure.
And we sent surveys out. So we did, and actually found that we sent survey out, and we had responses from California to Florida to Maine of where people answered the survey and how much distance they would be willing to travel.
Sure.
And so the majority of the people were willing to travel up to 500 miles to fish in a tournament. And so that's kind of how then we looked at where we got the majority of the responses. We looked at those states, and then we picked Tennessee was Lake Chick, and then we picked different things. The other things that we really tried hard to do is to make sure that our our ramps were very safe, well lit for the morning, very safe, very spacious, so it would be easy for people to get in and out of.
And if we had new boaters,
they felt safe, boater friendly, you know.
And we did pair with Bass Pro Shops or Cabela's nearby, so we would have our meetings there. So again,
perfect.
if you would understand the tournament rules, all that stuff, but typically they'd be coming out with a prize again, and that prize could have been a Bass Pro Shop gift card. And so we also found that you're going to need tackle the night before your tournament usually,
because they're not biting your one worm that you're
Right.
using,
and they're not usually just spending $25.
No.
Right.
So it was a
we were
win-win.
just trying to trying to do our best to make it the best bang for their dollar.
Yeah.
Sure.
So.
And keep it affordable, you
Yeah.
know. So like some tournaments, if I went as a pro, or boater, it was $400. Where Beth would be a co, it's $200. Then you add all those other prices in, and then you would have to pay your boater for gas and things like that. So we just really felt the team concept, and we started that. Our first actual trail was 2022, 23, 20. Yeah, I think. Yeah, 23. Or 22 was our first, and it worked out really well. But then I think we're realizing too that some of the people don't have somebody they can connect with, so they've asked us, can we pair with someone? So the first year we paired somebody as a co-angler so that she could fish all the tournaments. And then she's actually purchased 2 boats. So she was all in. She was all in.
Our people.
Right.
Our tournament we had down at Lake Chick, she went with me because Beth was still teaching. And we went down and we pre-fished for a time, a weekend. So she helped with the boat and everything. And then she calls and goes, guess what I did? And she bought a boat. And I was
awesome.
like, yeah. So she bought a fishing pontoon. And then she realized that just wasn't going to do it. So she bought another used boat. And they brought that boat down here to fish. Her and her husband, who's now retired, they fish.
And her brother.
And her brother. They all fish together, but her and her brother or her and her husband fish in a retirement league up in the Akron area,
That's
Mosquito
awesome.
Lake and stuff. So,
great.
which is awesome.
And Lori has, I have to compliment her because Lori has a vision to see things that I don't normally see. I usually have to process them and then poo-poo them and then we move forward. But she has a vision to see things, and she's really been able to get more women into fishing.
That's
so,
awesome.
I mean, she does a great job.
So I think a reoccurring theme I hear is, we're trying to get more people involved in fishing and just being outdoors in general. Obviously, but then that next step, like, okay, I would like to fish tournaments and I want to be a boat owner. Now, I think we both share, a community partner in Paul's Marine.
100%.
In buying that first boat. My spouse, I know she's great for driving the boat, because that was the deal. Is you got to do one or the other. So you either got to back the trailer in or you got to drive the boat.
Yeah.
Because it just makes it super easy at the ramp, and we're out and gone. But what about someone that doesn't have any boating experience whatsoever? Wants to get into tournaments, wants to buy their first 16-foot aluminum boat, because they can participate in these with that. I know in talking with Brad at Paul's Marine, they're great about getting people comfortable, even with just towing. Because now you've taken this new thing on, and now I got to pull it everywhere.
Yep.
So now my vehicle's got to be different, or got to be rigged to handle that. All this kind of stuff. I guess. What are your experience there? Is like, what's the best way for someone that's like wants to take the next step, kind of like just going to Cabela's to get started fishing day, but okay, now I want to tow a boat, now I got to operate a boat. We obviously want them to operate it safely and have a good time,
Yes.
and as someone else on the water in a boat, we want them to operate safely
Yes.
and have a good time.
We all
Yes.
remember COVID boaters.
Right.
I'm sorry, but we do call them COVID voters. But just here's the keys. So
Yeah, so obviously anybody that's outside of too far away may not be able to make it to Paul's Marine, because I know they do a great job with making sure that people feel confident and comfortable in operation and the safe operation of the boat, including just.
Right.
I mean, how many days are ruined at the ramp?
Right.
You may have the best day of your life in the ramp. You come back to the ramp and it's a train wreck.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
and
that
then you
puts
don't ever want to do it
a
again.
black cloud over
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yes. Yes.
We see the T-shirts. I'm
Yeah.
sorry for what I said at the boat ramp.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like
that's a sticker
Or
on my
we
bottle.
see the guy sitting there saying, you can pay me $5 to drop you in the water, or the people shooting video.
you're right, with their lawn chairs lined up to waiting for the wreck.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So
I would say for Paul, what Paul's does is they definitely help you. They educate you on safety, and they're able to take you out on the water and make you feel safe on the water. For us, what we've experienced is the guys in the back that work on the motors have brought us the tips that keep us safe. So we've been broken down on the water, and we've called the boys in the back, and they're like, check this switch, okay, unplug this and rewire the. And I'm like, are we sure about this? As my head is halfway down.
yeah.
And but they also either text back or call back and say, are you safe?
Yeah, are you good?
yeah.
And that's
awesome.
That is what makes me feel better
Right.
at night.
Right.
Especially when we're boating, or knowing other boaters that have purchased boats through them, that they're going to keep them safe.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have to. They don't have
That's
to
not
do
part of
that.
their job
Yes,
description.
Right,
yes.
And I'll chime in on that too, because I don't know the reach of your podcast. I'm going to guess your podcast goes further than just Delaware County.
It does.
This area.
It does,
Exactly.
yeah.
So I encourage people to, is when you go to the boat shows, look at the boat shows and walk around, get connected with people. That's how we really got started. And that was years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we ruled out some people immediately because I don't think they felt women should be on the water, or they just, this is true.
There was
and this
some
was
dismissal.
they
of
were
us.
so
It's unfortunate, but yeah.
because what they didn't realize is, and this is, and I mean, I wish I had the statistic for it, but I could. But usually, it's the female in the relationship that gives the okay to purchase the boat, and Paul's Marine recognizes that,
Yes.
and they're
That's
like,
fair.
and
That's fair.
they're like, if really, and we sold we had a Ranger, 2015 Ranger, loved it, sold it, and the our buddy we still stay in touch.
Yes.
He's like, my wife has to come and see the boat. And then she's the one that made the price.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had to agree to the price. And so I want people to realize that and also to give, I mean, you just, when you walk in, a female walks in, like Holly, I'm kind of getting off track right now, squirrel moment, sorry. But like when our friend went to the one store down at one of the Bass Pro Shops, she went to look for a boat close to her, And he goes, well, he said, are you, looking, is your husband around so we can talk about the boat? And she looked at him and she goes, no, he's buying clothes right now. She goes, I'm the one buying the boat. And she looked at him and was like, big mistake. It was like a Pretty Woman moment. And she was like, huge mistake. And he totally dismissed that. And so back to where, and again, Paul's Marine does a wonderful job, just like Beth said. But truthfully, every marina and boat dealer should do that, because that's how you're going to get people to come back. Sure. It is going to be the repeated customer that comes back, because they took the time to go through things with you. And so that's, no matter where you are in Ohio, if you can't get to Paul's Marine and you're up at the lake. The other thing, I work for Freedom Boat Club. I'm a boat captain. And it's a genius idea, is that you purchase a membership, and then you get training on the water, and then you can figure out, is this a boat that I really like? Do I really want to jump in boating? And so I think it's a good idea. For me, I rented boats, so I would go and rent boats wherever I would go, and now I look back and I'm like, they would just give me a key, and say that was it, and I'm like, oh my gosh! Again, you just sometimes have to jump in. So, but boat shows were huge for us. And back to water safety, Beth and I did take a ton of classes. So ODNR offers a class online. It's American
Boaters
Association. We've done things with them. We're actually going to do a presentation for them in September. Nice. But we went to classes. I remember we took the one class, I think was at Alum.
And if you're born after 1983, you have to take the class.
I do. No, doesn't necessarily apply to me, but they're requiring that now, which I think is a good thing. Just people need to understand boats have their own quirks. So.
And I hate to say this, but I think COVID brought that about, because so many people ran out and purchased boats and had no idea. And like Beth said, she loves driving on. She does a fantastic job driving on land. She can thread that boat in the smallest little parking spot or the trailer. But she likes brakes, and she's like, there are no brakes on that boat, so that's why I usually drive the boat. She drives it.
That's awesome, though. Totally understand. So, getting back to your guys' fishing partnership, you have your own tournament trail,
right?
Are you fishing any of the? I know there's some women specific bass leagues, in the country. Are you fishing any of those at the moment, or
not at this time?
Okay.
I had some family illness during the winter, so we just didn't want to be traveling too far this year for tournaments. So we're in 2 local tournaments.
Okay.
Trails. But they're more men's leagues.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So we do our best to try to take their money.
Yeah.
That's right. That's awesome.
Every now and again we do too, and it's nice.
Every now and then.
Chipotle.
That's right.
But we hopefully we'll be back next year. We know there's a really strong down in Louisiana, Texas. There's a tri-county thing that the ladies are doing. Most of their stuff though is boater and co-angler. There's the LBAA, which we both have fished in that before, but some of the travel is just really far. Yeah. And this year we have not done the LBAA. A lot of their tournaments are also during the winter. So they, Beth can't get out of work, and I'm not going to just tow the boat by myself. I don't, because I'm not the best backer-upper. I'm going to put that out
She's
there.
She's getting way better.
I am way better, but not like I need to be. But I'm fine on the water. But so we haven't been able to do that this year. But I know they're working, the one trail is working with bass. And they're actually trying to have an invitational, and then whoever wins that invitational is going to get an invitation to the Bass Team Trail or Team Tournament in December, which is fantastic. But when people have to work, I don't know how they do it. I really don't. I don't know how. A lot of these ladies, like, they're gun-ho. They're big time into it. And I don't know how they get, like, time off work, or some of them are retired and do things like that. And I'm like, more power to them. It's awesome,
That's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's never easy. I know, fishing some of the series, even quote unquote regional series, and you find yourself in Vermont, and you find yourself in Michigan, and in down, and it's like, holy cow,
Yeah.
it is quite a commitment.
Yeah.
It is. It really is. And I will say too, they don't understand fishing up north, and we don't necessarily understand fishing down south. But I will say, pulling in 12-incher here, you're excited because you're like, it's 12 inches, and they're pulling in 7-8 pounders, you know. And I'm like, yeah, it's a little different here, but I truly believe, and I use Hunter and Fletcher Shy Rock.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do it, Charlie Hartley.
Yeah.
You can fish up here and catch these fish
Yeah.
and find these fish.
You can fish anywhere.
You're going to be successful and fish anywhere.
Yeah.
I really, truly believe that. I
Yeah.
think if people really want to, you know, and then we did have a tournament on Lake Erie last year. We had a tournament up there, and it was great, but we also worry safety, so we
Yeah.
try to pick safe lakes and
Yeah.
you know
That was one of
keep
our
the
biggest
costs
one.
down. That was our biggest
Yeah.
lake we fished was Lake Erie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can turn rough pretty quick, and
Yeah.
it can be hard on equipment, but you know, the fishery itself is amazing.
Amazing.
You
But
know,
you can
but-
also lock down into West Harbor.
True, that-
So
very
yeah,
true.
so
Yeah.
or Sandusky Bay.
Sandusky
and so
Bay.
that's why we did pick Lake Erie, because
Sure.
we wanted some of the ladies that experience smallmouth fishing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have them down there. Yeah, y'all have 12 to 10 pounders, 12 pounders, and you know, Caddo Lake, you know, you got gators
awesome.
and giant snakes, you know, which I'm out.
Gators and
Yeah.
giant snakes.
I'm out. No,
That's awesome.
I'm out.
No.
No.
So I guess from a participation standpoint, what do you see coming would be the biggest challenges for people? You know, habitat. I mean, people. You know, were. I don't want to say people are at odds, but you get more people want to use the water. The lakes get busier. You know, the ramps get busier. The cost doesn't ever seem to go down. Bass boats. I remember the Golden Era back in the day. I'm like, I don't know what happened, but they're wicked expensive now.
Oh, yeah.
You know, all those kind of factors. You know, what are some of the challenges that you guys see for anglers participating in, like, just locally, or even like you were talking about traveling and competing nationally?
So that's one of the barriers we were trying to overcome was
With our league.
many of the travel is trying to have those Saturday, Sunday tournaments, but then you're looking at all the boat traffic that's coming through. So then we were trying to do, like a Thursday, Friday, do
Right.
that, Friday, Saturday. And so we were trying to get women into, at first we tried a 1-day tournament, then we went to a 2-day tournament because we
next
wanted
time
their
was-
travel and their cost to, again, more bang for your buck if it's a 2-day tournament. But it's all of those are barriers.
Yeah. And I think we tried. So the first year we did, like Beth said, we did a 2-day tournament, then we did a 1-day, 2-day, 1-day. And we looked back at our entries and, where did we get the biggest entries and how many people were in. And I think then we kind of went away from that and we started doing the 2-day tournaments, and then we increased the cost, but to help also with the winnings, because you're going to win more because and it's and we do it differently. Most trails they pay out every 5 boats, and we paid out every 3. So we made it more bang for your buck because we're paying out 3. We're still paying out 80%. That 20%, like, we carry insurance, and things like that, and awards and things like that. So there is that cost. But I will say, if people really find themselves wanting to try the tournaments, you don't have to have the $100,000 boat to get into them, and you can find a good used boat. You can go to a dealership. You can look at Marketplace. Holly found hers on Marketplace. You can make whatever boat you have work, just like our 16.5 footer worked. But then as we realized we're more and more into it, yes, we grew and grew and grew. Went from 50 horsepower to, I think, a 150 to a 225 to a 250. We were out on the water the other day. It was 400 horsepower. And I'm like,
I've seen 'em.
overkill.
Yeah.
Overkill.
fun.
But it's great for Lake Erie. So wherever that person's fishing with that 400 horsepower boat, but for the Clear Fork, where it's a 6 horsepower limit, 400 was a little excessive.
Right.
But so I think people need to realize, just you juggle where you want, and find that sweet spot of what you're willing to jump into. Our neighbor's a great example. He got a boat. He loves fishing, and he he's like, I think I want a boat. And he networked through work. He's in the military, networked through work, and he ended up getting one boat and loved it, enjoyed it, used it, and then he ended up getting another boat. And it's a bigger boat that he can take all his girls out fishing. And so his wife has lost part of the garage, but she's okay with that.
Oh, dear.
And then we talked to him, and now he has a camper. He's like, I didn't tell you guys,
Wow.
but I bought a camper. So he has a camper up one of the Delaware parks.
That's awesome.
And so he has a camper that they go out and hang out, and then he takes the boat up. And so I think you have to figure whatever it is your sweet spot that you
Sure.
want to do. The Tuesday nighters, $40 entry fee.
Right.
100% payback. Some of the tournament trails, $100 or $80 opens. So you just have to find what works for you, and then you make it happen.
Sure.
But you can only dangle your feet in the water for so long. You either got
All in.
you got to get all in.
That's
You
right.
do,
At
'cause,
some point.
I mean, if we would have thought about we should never take our boat out on Kentucky Lake, we wouldn't be where we are right now.
Yeah.
Yep. I think we've all found ourselves in those moments where like, I'm not sure I've just outkicked my coverage here a little.
Yeah.
But you just
Yeah.
bear down and
Yeah.
all in.
Yeah.
So
But then you also have to look at the cost, and we do. We have a very nice boat we got at Paul's, and it's not cheap, but it's the things that are on it have really, the power poles, those things have
Right,
really
right.
helped us. But it's also, do I stop and think about how great the power poles are? No, I think about they held me underneath a bridge during a storm when Beth wasn't even on the boat, and then I
Right.
went to
Yeah.
pick her up, and then all was good. But you think about the memories that you get out of being on the water, and where I might blow Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks coffee in the morning, whatever. This investment is giving me lifetime memories.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're kind of getting toward the end here. I'd kind of like to know what's next for Two Chicks in a Boat, but I also know you've got this jersey hanging back here. They're not the only ones repping this amazing fishing wear here. Maybe talk a little bit about all your folks here. We certainly appreciate all the folks there that are supporting you and your mission for sure. But then maybe tell us a little bit too about what's next for you guys. What's on the horizon?
Go for it. Do you want to? Well, those shirts and the patches, like you said, you get those on there. Somebody warned us in the beginning when we started fishing. We're like, we just had a T-shirt, like it was a green shirt, and it was matching green shirts, and then we had bright green shirts, and then we had a jersey, and they're like, there's pirate patches. There are people that go out there and they just get all these sponsors, and we're like, sponsors aren't always easy to come by.
Right.
And what people need to understand is because we have that on there, does not mean we are professional anglers. We are not paid to fish. So Beth has a full-time job. I have a retirement check coming in, and then I love to work other places, so I do other things too. But we promote the products, and we're very picky about using the product before we ever approach someone to be on the
Sure.
pro staff. And we've had people who have given us stuff and said, and then we're like, nope, that's not for us. Mercury Marine is probably one of the biggest things. Every boat that we've had has had a Mercury Marine motor on it. Only one time did we have a warranty issue, and it was because something got clogged in it.
Sure.
And it was one of those things, got taken care of under warranty. It's a phenomenal, and we will always back Mercury, because...
And we've been across the country fishing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, hot, yeah.
Using that motor.
Lake Toho, everywhere.
Yeah.
And we can count on it to start up every time we turn it
Yes,
on.
yes.
Provided
And
that
we
we
take
have
good care of it.
Yes, and
Right,
provided
you
we
charge
have
the batteries.
Yeah.
Yes, charge the batteries and
And-
not knock off the kill switch.
And Paul's Marine tells us, "Oop, you're due for service."
Yes,
Right.
yes. And that's the other thing, too. And I will say, I do tell people when they talk about boats, there's a difference between buying a used boat and buying a new boat. I need to know that I have a warranty to cover it because I know nothing about, I didn't know how you had to charge it. So let alone you have to put oil in it, you have to do this, you have to winterize it. No, I'm going to let the professionals do that.
Sure.
And I want the warranty. So even though, Dave Ramsey and maybe Susie Orman would be like, don't buy new, I'm buying new. So because I want that warranty.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
and I want the resale value of it too. And Mercury has a great resale value with their
Sure.
motors. So Bass Pro Shops Cabela's have been wonderful for us.
yeah.
Dave
They-
Fisher
yeah,
down
they-
at
they gave us a platform to educate.
Dave
Yeah,
Fisher,
that's awesome.
down Rest His Soul down in Cincinnati, said, "Can you guys come in and do a presentation for women in fishing?" And we did that for 5 years, and then we switched up here just because of the travel. So we've been able to do that. We're back on Cabela's. Not back on it. We've been on Cabela's pro staff there, and we're hoping to do some classes there, which are really what we want to get back into, is educational things, like especially during the winter months. Come, and this is where we're going to break down, how to get fishing for women and kids, or it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
People want to fish. Ducket rods.
Yeah, so Lori liked ducket rods first, and then she let me try them. I was having tendonitis in my elbows, and because they're so lightweight and very sensitive, that I no longer have tendonitis. And I mean, you can
That's
just...
an amazing endorsement right there.
Yeah, it's true.
You could feel the bite. I mean, we were fishing in lily pads the other day, and I was like, there she is.
Yeah, and then and the other thing too, they have a cork handle. I like the cork handle. It brings me back to back in the day. But they also have a good price point, But same with Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, the Johnny Moore series.
Yes.
The carbon lights. You have a lot of carbon lights. I have an Abu rod that I absolutely love using for Ned rigs. So, but we do, we're honest.
Yeah.
We do have
Because
different rods.
with zero knowledge, we've been there with only a certain amount of money in our wallet.
Yeah.
Sure.
So we
Yeah.
do appreciate all of our sponsors
Yeah.
that do that.
Yeah, that's great.
And Paul's Marine, and then this year how many years now we've been running Bass Cat? 3?
3 years.
3 years.
3
yeah.
years.
And I got to
Nice.
tell you, we love it.
Yeah.
I mean, we loved our Ranger. It was the last of Forrest Wood's boats that he made, and we loved that boat. She was Flasher.
Yep.
And she's in
And
a good home now. But
And our new Bass Cat is Chicklet.
Chicklet, and we love Chicklet. Yeah,
I'm sorry, I have not named my bass boat. I'll
People
work on
name
that.
their cars.
please.
We
Yeah.
name our
Hey,
boats.
Yeah.
So this is Chicklet, and Chicklet's awesome.
We're spoiled in her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she can handle the waves.
We've been in 6-footers.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but then as
You don't
far
need
as-
that. You don't
need to be out there on
Yes,
6 footers.
yes.
I do have my captain's
Just in
license.
case,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I do. So I just think for us moving forward, I'm really hoping to bring the trail back next year. I would like to see try to get somebody on as a title sponsor,
Sure.
so that we can offer more prize money for people to get involved, because it has to offset the cost of travel.
Sure.
And so I really would like for us to be able to do that, to get a title sponsor, to be like, this trail's sponsored by so-and-so. Paul's Marine has been wonderful. They've given us a trailer that we use. We have all of our sponsors on that trailer and our logo. A lot of those are individual sponsors, not trail sponsors. But we do want to, you see that thing, and traveling down the road, and people are like, "Hey, what is this?" It's great.
Right.
It's great advertisement.
We
It
do
really
get a
is.
lot of thumbs up.
Yeah, we
Right.
do get a lot of
That's
thumbs
awesome.
up. Yeah,
Love
but
to hear
but
that.
hopefully we'll do that next year.
And there still are discussions about we're trying to get a podcast
Yeah.
off the ground that's not as easy as it
No,
looks.
we have 4 episodes.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, we have 4 episodes ready to roll, but we just haven't hit the send to button. We do have a YouTube channel that has some videos on it.
Okay.
We do a really important life jacket video
Yeah.
that's really,
Yeah.
it actually was nominated, someone nominated it for big safety awareness, but then COVID hit.
Oh,
So
geez.
we were invited
Right.
to go to this in May, and COVID hit, so it canceled it. But Beth jumps in a pool during winter, fully clothed, with different life jackets, and we show which one works best and when
Nice.
is best to wear, whatever.
Well, so our mission obviously is to get people to come to Delaware County, to enjoy Delaware County. Obviously we would love them to spend their money while they're here.
Yeah.
But that said, we want them to do it safely.
Yeah.
We want everybody to go
100%.
back home and talk about the great experience they had.
Yes.
So yes, life jackets, all the safety equipment is
Yeah.
wildly important. So
I think one of the best investments that Delaware did is the tornado shelter for the campers, because we've been camping before, we've
Right.
gone out fishing,
Yes.
and Anam and Toto are close by, and you're like, what do you do? and that I know there was tornado people like, we really need to spend money on that. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Because you need to keep people safe.
Oh,
yeah, again, we want everybody to have a great experience, but ultimately, be safe, go
safe, yeah.
home, and And come back and see us.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Well, thank you guys for being on today. We appreciate it. Look forward to maybe a future conversation, maybe circle back and talk more about, where you guys are at and what you're doing. Maybe we'll even get on the water sometime, right?
That would be fun.
That'd be good?
That would be really fun.
That'd be awesome.
Bring some Cheshire pizza.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's those
We
snacks,
always
right?
bring a lot
Bring
of
snacks.
Oh, yeah. We pack for Gilligan's Island.
Gilligan's
We
Island.
might get submerged somewhere and be stuck.
Hey, it's better to have it and not need it, right?
yeah,
Yes.
this is true.
Well, for every guest on the podcast, you have your very own little brown jug.
Oh, sweet.
So thank you for being here.
Thank
Obviously,
you.
the Little Brown Jug is pretty quintessential Delaware County.
Yes,
We're at
it
the
is.
Delaware County Fairgrounds every September.
That's amazing.
So again, thank you for being on, and
Thanks
we
for
look
having
forward
us.
to the next time.
Thank
And maybe
you.
next time you see us, we'll be on the water, right?
oh,
Yeah.
let's hope so. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for us, folks. Thanks for joining us here today on the DLZ Podcast. If you saw something here today you liked, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share with anyone else who cares as much about the county as we do. Until next time, we'll see you around the county.